Hey there, it's Keegan. Welcome to your latest reading with me. I hope that you guys have been doing well. As you've noticed, I am switching things up a little bit. I posted a video at the beginning of the month that was all about looking at your money and your career. And in that video, I said at the beginning that I was rethinking and reworking readings here on the channel a little bit. And this is going to be an indication of where things are going. So what I thought I would do is a month ahead reading. And this is really true for whenever you find this reading. It isn't limited to the 30 days that follow when I post the video. So if you happen to find this video a year, 5 years, 10 years after I originally posted it, if you feel that there are messages that are contained within this video for you, odds are watching this video will actually lead to those messages being delivered for you. So as you can see on the screen, I have selected 5 of my tarot decks. From these 5 decks, I will be doing 3 separate readings, pulling 2 cards from each deck for a total of a 10 card reading. There will be 3 of these, and it's really up to you how you interact with this video. You might feel that there is one particular spread that you are meant to watch. You might feel that the entire reading is designed for you and that there are messages contained within the entire length of the video. Again, that's 100% up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of different ways to interact with this reading, however, to help you intuitively tune in to which of the readings might contain messages that are specific to you and what's going on within your life. This is a reading that is open to all signs, and then we'll let the magic of the YouTube algorithm make sure that the people who are meant to see this particular video find it and are able to access it and watch. Let's talk about how I'm going to help you tune in intuitively to which of these readings might be best for you. What I'm going to do in a moment is I'm going to put 3 videos up on the screen. And these videos will play for approximately 20 to 25 seconds. During that time, I want you to look at each of the videos and see if you feel that there is anything that's pulling you in, if there's anything that's making you feel like perhaps one of the videos is not something that is meant for you. Some of you might feel that the entire screen seems to be telling one cohesive story between the 3 videos, and if you make that type of connection, then I would say that indicates that the entire reading might be something that you would want to hang out and listen to. After that, I will put timestamps up, and if you're going to watch all the way through, you'll just continue to hang out with me. If you've selected the second or the third readings, then those timestamps will give you an indication of where you need to skip ahead so that you can start your reading. And I'll also include all those timestamps in the description box below or in a comment that I'll pin to the video below. So with that being said, let's go ahead. I'm going to put the 3 videos up on the screen now. And when I do that, again, I'm going to let them play uninterrupted for about 20 seconds or so. I'm not putting any music here because I really want you to tune in solely to the visuals. So I'm going to assume that you have made your selection or your selections in terms of which of the readings you are going to watch. I'm going to put the timestamps up now so you can see exactly where the first, second, and third readings start. And I will be seeing you along the reading as you pop in or as you exit. I just want to say here at the beginning, thank you so much for watching this video. I won't have an opportunity at the end, most likely, to say that to all of you. I also just want to let you know you can find me across all social media platforms. Keaghan Kirk is my username everywhere you could seek me out. I also book all of my personal readings through my website. That's keaghankirk.com. You can select whichever type of reading you want with me. The entire process is on my website now, including submitting your questions, processing payment. You can schedule and reschedule things through the website. So if you're interested in doing a personal reading with me, please go to my website, keaghankirk.com. Okay, let's go ahead and move into your reading. These lead cards indicate energy of someone who is opening themselves up to spiritual exploration and has a sincere desire to really level themselves up. It is important to not be unrealistic with the goals that you're setting, though. Sometimes things take time and it's not possible to speed them along. Keep yourself motivated by reminding yourself why this period of growth matters to you. You're having to make some hard decisions, and it's possible that you have disconnected yourself a bit from other people in order to sort through your own thoughts. There's also energy here of someone who's beginning to step up and own their responsibilities, or someone who is ready to take on a deeper commitment to something or perhaps to someone. As you work your way through this energy, utilize your ability to be strategic and to take the larger issues and problems and break them down into smaller, easier to tackle parts. Keep pushing through this experience though, because it's important to your spiritual growth that you see this through to the end. Now, with two tens showing up next in the reading, there's clearly energy here of endings and new beginnings. For some of you, the spiritual journey that I discussed earlier was actually caused by this ending. And for others of you, your spiritual exploration is going to actually lead you to making some major changes and difficult decisions. As you navigate these changes, be sure that you're keeping yourself in a positive space energetically. The Ten of Swords here represents a painful final ending to something, but that something needs to be removed from your path. It could be easy to fall into the role of a victim here, focusing on the things that are happening to you rather than actually thinking about what's happening for you. You're likely not sharing a lot of this with other people, but don't try to do more on your own than you're actually capable of doing. Don't cling to things that you know you need to release. Doing so will only hold you back from making progress and continuing forward on your path. Energetically, I feel that this will all close out soon because you're actively working to raise your awareness of yourself. Prioritizing your needs and your goals is making it much more clear what you need to do, and it's helping you make space for bigger and better things. It's really important for you to take time to turn inward and focus on your feelings and your emotions. Your emotions might feel wildly out of control at the moment, but that's only because so much is happening right now. There's so much that's being allowed to finally bubble up to the surface. Other people might show up in your life specifically to help trigger this big emotional release. But allow yourself to confront those feelings directly and seek out the source of the initial trauma so you can begin the process of healing. Doing this will help you become more clear about your path forward. As soon as you deal with your pain, you can begin to ask yourself what you want instead of that pain. We aren't meant to carry our pain and traumas forward with us throughout our entire life. We experience those things to help us learn more about ourselves, and we should take the lessons with us, but move forward in life focused on what brings us happiness and joy, rather than defining ourselves based solely on that trauma and sadness. So we have another 10, which is actually one of four total in this reading. And it's another card that indicates to me that you're holding back from sharing with people exactly what's going on. You're being a bit guarded with the details. And this could be protective in terms of your ego or your pride, or you might actually be trying to make some moves and decisions without alerting someone of what your actual intentions are. The past is really becoming much more clear to you, and you're seeing the full extent of what actually really happened. It's important here that you remember that you can't change what happened. It's time to let go and start to move forward. And as you allow yourself to disengage from what was, you will begin to get clarity about what you want instead. Prioritizing your happiness and your needs is vital here because you're beginning the process of manifesting the life that you actually want. So any lingering energy around what you don't want is actually really wasted effort on your part. So be sure to be true to yourself and to allow yourself to ask for what you really actually truly want rather than settling for something that's less than that. Tune out any input from others who are pressuring you to make decisions that don't align with what you know is best for you. The pain and the sadness that I've picked up on throughout this reading, they're really ready to leave you when you're ready to release them. The more you can focus on your spiritual well being, the more you will be able to feel that spark inside of you ignite again. Instead of fixating on what you do not have, focus instead on what you do have and be sure to express gratitude to the universe for all of it. You have an amazing opportunity here to see clearly all of these cycles and patterns that you've been trapped in for a really long time. I have to emphasize here again that you're doing all of this, it feels like mostly on your own, which is not at all necessary. There are actually people around you who want to be there to help support you and to encourage you. If you're willing to open up about what's going on with you, you'll realize how much you've been losing vital energy by holding it all inside. You're right on the edge of a major turning point in your life, and it's really important that you break any habits that you have about keeping it all to yourself or doing it all on your own. One of the most important lessons here for you is realizing that you can be surrounded by people who are nurturing, caring, and really want to see you thriving and happy. But you have to open yourself up to those people first before they can actually enter into your life or be there to support you during this part of your journey. Even if you can't explain why, you are aware that you're being pulled and led toward something new. Trust in the universe's plan for you right now. Even if you don't yet feel that you're ready, it's time for you to take the risk and jump. You don't actually need to know all the details or be certain of exactly how things are going to work. What you should focus on right now is releasing any fears or hesitation that you have. No one needs to grant you permission to follow your path. No one needs to uh, validate the decisions that you're making. It's really up to you. So it's time to be daring and bold and work your way through whatever the universe has in store for you. A very tumultuous period of time is coming to a close. And I feel like you're exiting that energy with a deeper understanding of who you truly are. You also understand better now what sorts of limitations you have placed on yourself. Your faith is leading you right now, and it's taking you towards a much more stable place. There is a lot of growth ahead of you, but you're ready for it. I sense that you're feeling hopeful about life for the first time in a long time, or possibly just more hopeful than you've ever felt before. If you can embrace allowing newness, lots of change into your life, you're navigating yourself towards the highest expression of who you are. As we begin to open ourselves up to new opportunities, it can be easy to become a bit overwhelmed by the choices that show up for us, especially if you're still in the process of learning how to love and accept yourself and fully understand who you are and what you want and need. If you're in that space of still trying to figure yourself out, then making decisions could be very challenging for you right now. It's best to take a step back and try to see beyond those initial choices that are right in front of you. Think about what it is that you want long term. Quick fixes are not really the way to approach this. The biggest priority here, even if you are feeling pressured to make decisions, is to focus on being able to allow your true, authentic self to come out and be seen, and honestly, to be experienced. When you arrive at the point where you love and accept yourself, you're more willing to allow other people to see who you truly are. And when you're in that space of showing your genuine and authentic self, your relationships become more fulfilling and deeper, and they become more stable. When you don't love yourself, you tend to attract situations and people that reinforce the doubts that you have within yourself. But as you begin to actually accept yourself and love yourself, you attract people in who reinforce that you're lovable and that you're amazing and wonderful. You deserve happiness and stability, but you have to provide that to yourself first. It isn't something that you can seek out through another person. So focus as much as you can on you. You're learning now how important boundaries are in ensuring that the people who are allowed within your energy are actually deserving of having access to you in that way. You're becoming much less driven by your emotions, and instead you're seeking out the truth with a capital T. You'll likely find yourself unwilling to deal with superficial connections or connections in which you feel you're not respected. You're communicating with people differently now, meaning you no longer hold back or try to water down what you actually feel and what you actually mean. Keep in mind that as you begin to heal and level yourself up, people will try to keep you from having success. Raising your vibration and beginning to chase after the highest expression of who you are meant to be can actually be really triggering for those around you who also know that they need to work on themselves, but are in denial about that or simply avoiding doing the work. So seeing you begin to have success on your own spiritual work could lead them to accuse you of judging them, abandoning them, or giving up the connection that you have with them. Keep in mind that you are working with the universe right now to rid your life of anything and anyone who is standing in the way of your ascension to higher vibrational energy. If something or someone is taken from you during that process of working with the universe, you need to let that thing or that person go. Part of this unfolding journey for you is about rethinking and reworking what you've known, specifically around financial stability. I sense that you actually have had stability and abundance in the past, but you've made a decision to forego that financial stability in order to chase after something that you know is necessary for you in order to continue to grow and develop spiritually. So this could mean moving away from a major city to pursue a much simpler life, or leaving a corporate type of job to start something that's your own business. It could mean realizing that all of the chasing after money and the promotions and the new titles at work aren't really fulfilling you in the same way that they once did. And you might not fully be in this process yet, but if you're not, you've at least accepted that this is what you're going to do, and you're actively making plans around that. The universe is asking you to keep two specific things in mind here. First, money and material possessions are not really things on which we need to place too much value. Remember that your happiness and your ability to make and sustain connections with friends and family matters more than anything else. Secondly, the universe is urging you to embrace and accept the truth that money will flow to you easily and support anything that you do as long as you're engaging your passion and your talents. With some budgeting and planning and maybe a bit of unexpected divine assistance, you can definitely exist comfortably, maybe just not as extravagantly as you might be accustomed. But know that any financial setbacks will be temporary, and they're simply part of this process. Whether you find yourself with everything you always thought you wanted, or you just spent a great deal of time chasing after an ideal life that you had in your mind, I feel like you find yourself right now realizing that something's still missing. Sometimes what we think we want and what we actually need are not the same thing. So it's time to focus on getting real with yourself and allowing who you are inside to finally have a say in what you want for your life. You're learning to love and accept yourself, and that process can be really challenging. We often hide parts of who we are in order to keep ourselves feeling safe or to avoid the judgment of others. We also deny parts of who we are because we don't want to accept them, or because we feel like maybe certain qualities aren't things that we're capable of possessing. Over time, we do this more and more, and we might start to present a version of who we are that matches what we think people want to see. Eventually, we might not even know for sure who we are anymore. And in that space, it's very challenging to know what it is we actually want because we've lost that understanding of who we truly are. You need to give yourself the time and the space to navigate this process of self discovery. And once you align with who you are now, then you can align with who you came here to be. And that will allow you to clearly see the steps that are necessary for you to begin manifesting the life that is actually aligned with your soul. But you have to strip away all of the protective layers and deal with your shadow self in order to fully understand who you truly are. Just know that as you are actively engaging in this spiritual journey, your guides and your higher self are working to meet you at the finish line with lots of rewards for the efforts. So keep going. This is such an interesting combo. With the Empress being reversed here, there are a few things going on. Above all else, the Empress placement here, I feel, is urging you to prioritize yourself and your needs above anyone and anything else right now. You've likely been putting another person's emotional needs above your own, and it's come at a pretty big cost. In a way, I feel like there is misplaced mother energy here, meaning you might have been trying to play parent to someone who really shouldn't need a parent, or perhaps someone else was trying to parent you and it came across as being smothering or controlling. So take a look at the connections in your life and see if you've been placing yourself into a caretaker role for someone else, or if you've been requesting someone be a caretaker for you as a means of shirking your responsibility that you have to yourself. You need to ask yourself what those decisions have cost you in terms of being able to make progress on the things that really matter to you. Energetically, I feel like the Empress here is really expressing an energy of blocked creativity. The Ace of Cups indicates that you've opened yourself up to some type of creative expression, but you don't feel like you can actually manifest it or birth it into the world. This conflict might be really frustrating, but it is actually divinely designed. That inspiration to create is coming from your guides and your higher self, but you are not yet the person who's meant to create what you're being inspired to devote yourself to. You have to figure out how to pull your energy back from other people and gather up the parts of yourself that you've handed over to others. And when you're fully integrated back into yourself and you're allowing yourself to exist as your main priority, at that point, you will fully understand what it is that you're being asked to contribute by the universe. It's really beautiful imagery here because you're being inspired to become the person you're meant to be. And I think that that's a beautiful space energetically to find yourself. So, on one hand, we have this queen longing to lead with mental clarity, desperate to set boundaries and command respect, someone who's seeking out the truth and working to become more independent. But imagining this creates a great deal of anxiety and stress for you. The fear that you feel around being fully responsible for yourself must be dealt with before you can have any success at embracing that Queen of Swords energy. This is actually not something that you can do on your own. You need the support of people who care about you and want to see you succeed. You might also need other types of support, like therapy or work with a spiritual advisor. Because you are in such a conflict between what you're being pulled towards and what's holding you back, it could be really easy to find yourself spinning your wheels and getting frustrated if you try to do this all on your own. Getting to the core of your fears is really key here. Did you get a lot of messaging that you weren't capable of caring for yourself? Do you believe that setting boundaries with certain people will lead to you losing them? Have you been existing in life as a people pleaser? And now that you're trying to assert your own needs and set boundaries, you find yourself facing accusations that you've changed or that you don't care as much as maybe you once did. There are reasons why asserting your own needs trigger fear inside you. Those are things that you have to uncover and heal. Your mind is not going to let you do this without the support and the perspective of others. Part of what you're being asked to do here is figure out who can actually help you, and therefore who needs to be in the inner circle, so to speak, and who needs to be kept outside the gates for a while until you can determine if they align with who you're becoming. But it's really important, and I have to stress again, you can't actually do this on your own. Part of this experience is designed so that you will be able to tune into people in a different way. You're actually being recalibrated by the universe to be able to judge people better. And when I say judge, I don't mean that with like a harsh meaning. I mean, you're being reset in a way by the universe to allow you to have better judgment about people. So while the Eight of Swords very often can represent victim thinking, a victim mindset, what I'm sensing more than anything here is actually more connected to an inability to commit. I'm seeing an image of someone who was trying to make their way forward. It's almost like they're swinging from like one rope to the next, making their way across like a jungle. But at some point, they became too fearful to let go. And now they're just clinging to both of these ropes, both of these vines, and they're not making any progress. They're not moving forward anymore. The page here being upright is actually a good sign. There's excitement and there's energy around something new that's approaching. There might be new communication, new ideas, but you are very, very scared to actually allow any of that newness in because you are scared of the change in some way. The key here is to remind yourself that you're not actually stuck. You're not being held back. You aren't lacking the resources that you need in order to do what you actually want to do. You just have to conquer the fear. You're not powerless and you really do have options, but it's possible that the options that you have are not necessarily ones that you're very fond of. But making those decisions, even if they are very difficult, allows you to free yourself from where you have been and begin to move yourself towards where you want to be instead. You have to let go and trust that you have the momentum to carry you forward to the next point in the journey. Once you work out the conflicting feelings that have been so present in this reading so far, you step more fully into your own power. This combo is actually very similar in energy to the first two cards we discussed in this reading, that reversed Empress with the upright Ace of Cups. Here, however, I'm sensing the results of your effort because that Ace of Cups has been raised to the Fool card, and the King of Swords shows that energy of the Empress being reversed has been replaced in a way. Let's talk about the King of Swords. The King of Swords stands confidently in a space of authority. So not only do you know who you are and what you want, you also know how to ensure that you get there. You understand the importance of the relationship that you have with yourself. This work that you've done on your own life also puts you into a space where others respect and admire you for what you've accomplished. You have the potential to help others on their journey if that's something that you want to do. But right now, you have this detached energy, and I think that's actually necessary, at least for a period of time. The Fool card indicates that you won't remain in that space for long. As you start to process how far you've managed to move yourself along the journey, you actually are motivated to re-engage and reattach your energy to new people, to new things. You realize that you have more power than you ever imagined, and you eventually overcome all of the fears and the limitations that were holding you back. You're able to boldly leap and take more risk because you're now more aligned with your highest good. You know and trust that anything that isn't for you will be removed from your path. You aren't worried about other people's opinions, and you don't need other people to validate or approve of the decisions that you're making. You're comfortably in the driver's seat of your own life, and you're navigating yourself based on your intuition. This reading ends with the Fool card reversing itself and the Two of Cups giving more insight into potentially why. When the Fool card reverses after being upright earlier, it indicates to me that you have a moment of self doubt or you get an intuitive nudge that the timing simply isn't right. Something here is standing in your way, and it's important that you make sure that thing isn't you. There's strong energy coming through here that indicates that you might find yourself struggling to accept life actually getting better or easier for you. So look at areas where you might be dealing with self doubt or issues around control. If you find them, then you need to deal with them. But if an honest evaluation leads you to feel that you're not actively self sabotaging, then know that the universe is simply asking you to pause and to reevaluate things more deeply, just to ensure that you're not taking too many risks or that you're not being impatient and giving up on something too quickly. Whatever the issue is, whether it's self doubt or self sabotaging habits or simply a timing issue, don't let your energy dip towards the lower vibration too much. The Two of Cups here indicates that all of this work you've been doing to really get more in touch with your highest, most authentic expression of who you are is going to lead you towards a potential connection of some sort. Now, this is obviously dependent upon you personally and what it is that you're hoping to manifest. But if you're looking for love, then it could be a romantic partner who comes in to sweep you off your feet. If you're looking for a different type of partnership, like maybe a business partner or a silent investor, then you find a match who has shared values and who respects what you're trying to create, someone that it feels safe to invite into your project. Just know that the more you can lean into self-acceptance and self-love, the more you are sending out energy to the universe, which is aligning and attracting a great partnership for you. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you want to watch more videos to see if you can find additional answers for yourself, I've included 2 suggestions here. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow and helps these videos reach more people who might need to hear the messages.